Okay, we're live. I've this is the first time we're doing this. This is HobbyPlex After Hours. This is a idea I've had about if I need to wrench and might as well put it on YouTube and we can get a chat going and um, anything RC related. We can give it a shot, but I got a couple things I got to do. Tonight we're fixing the Super Slash, the front end. It had some trouble. It's been broken ever since the Enduro, and then I got to work on my kid's car for. Hi, the wires were disconnected to the plug. How can I fix it? Well, wow, this is fast. Okay, more than likely, we'd have to probably solder the plugs on. I'm guessing. It depends on where they came apart at. If they came apart where it meets the brass, then yeah, you're gonna have to resolder it. Yes, probably. Yeah, wood soldering the wires back in the plug work. Absolutely, that seems to be normally what's going on. Hi, Josh. This is fun. I don't think I'm gonna get any work done because everybody's gonna be on here. So, so Emerson Emerson tried to fix it a little bit, and he actually put some stuff on backwards. So we're gonna get that going for us. I'm watching. Yep, if it came off where the wire was connected to the brass, it would definitely have to be resoldered. My favorite controller right now, well, if I had the money, I would. I think I would personally own an M17 from Sanwa. A buddy of mine has one, and all the features it has, the connectivity to the car, the speed of it. I think that probably is one of the better radio systems out there right now. Unfortunately, it's like 500 and something bucks, which I don't need. So I personally use an MT44. It's a couple $100 cheaper, but it's still a pretty fast and nice feeling controller. I don't have one here, otherwise I'd show you guys. It's a good question though. I think for a budget-minded person, I think a MX6 from Sanwa or a DX5C from Spectrum are still probably your best bets as far as a budget concern. They're only $100 radio systems, and they have model memory, which is really important. So I would definitely do that. So Mason Fox just asked, what do you think would be causing his steering to make a popping noise when I turn the wheels? I mean, usually that's broken servo gears. If you say that you checked them, the Latrax servos, the 2065, I think is what they are. They're really sensitive, and especially the plastic geared ones. They're really easy to break. I would suggest maybe rechecking that, and if necessary, go to the metal geared version of that servo. We have them at the Plex in stock. They're a direct drop in for your Latrax cars. Yeah, you can get the metal. I think the servo is like 30 something bucks, and it's a solid replacement. You'd be able to. You probably wouldn't break it again. Put it that way. That's why they came out with them. For a while, we were given these Savic servos for replacements, but you couldn't actually use the stock servo horn. But the Traxxas ones, you can use the stock servo horn too. So more than likely, it's your gears. If it's making a popping noise, I would think it's your gears, especially if it's having trouble turning. That's what it's got to be. I think a shop tour in the future. Yeah, we've done a few. Oh, you mean this? Oh, yeah. So I actually just got done remodeling my hobby room, specifically for times like these. So I'm using my laptop because it wouldn't let me use my phone. I can probably lift it up a little bit. Yeah. So behind me here, this is I call it the money wall. So this is a bunch of plaques and stuff that I've won over the course of probably 25 years, maybe longer. And I call it the money wall because Lord knows, like I put on my Facebook, I'm like, Lord knows how much money I've spent going to all these races just to win the plaques behind me. So over here, so these are all my collectible cars. Give me a second. So this is a JRX T in pretty much mint condition, and it's you guys can see it's got it's signed by Gil Ossie Jr. and this is like one of my like super prized possessions right here. So I got all my collectibles behind me here, and then over here, more dumb trophies. And I basically made this so that my son and I can work on stuff at the same time. That's why I got this bench here too. Before I had this set up a couple weeks ago, if we were trying to work on something at the same time, it was too hard. It was just there wasn't enough room. So yeah, that's it. It's in my shop. Nothing too crazy. I'm sort of worrisome there. I don't have to take the. Well, Mason would probably be easier if you just got a new connector. Honestly, trying to resolder those connectors once they get pulled apart, there, it's just too difficult of a thing to do. To push the other side out so that you can resolder it. It just so you probably just need to get a new connector altogether. And again, we have those at the Plex. They're from APS, and I think they're only like $4 or $5 for Traxxas controllers, or I mean, not controllers, plugs. You know what I mean? So this is fun. It doesn't really say how many. Oh, there we go. There's 11 people watching. See, it's like it's yeah. It's fun. So again, this is my the Super Slash that we used for the Enduro that we did, and it needs work. So I was going to get that done, and then my son broke his B6 last Saturday. So I got two things I got to do tonight, and luckily Emerson already tried to fix one of them. So the other cool thing is I got my TV up. Yeah, we came in third. Could have came in second, but the break cost us. We had like a 27-minute lap time when we were fixing the shock tower, and then we lost by 25 minutes to second. So we would have had 2 minutes there if that wouldn't have happened. But one more thing is I got my small TV up, and I got it on YouTube so I can watch like RC stuff. So probably starting tomorrow, I'll be watching the Reedy Race for sure after we get done at work. We got a lot of locals that are at the Reedy Race, and so it'll be fun to maybe see if we can catch a glimpse of them. But also the invite class will be going, and that's really entertaining from an RC geek perspective. Mason, how much are the connectors? Well, you shouldn't have to connect. You shouldn't have to get anything that connects to the servo. but it will be, what in the world did he do? Okay. The connectors are going to be like $5 or $6. I think they're only like 5 something something. Yeah. Yeah, the connectors aren't that expensive. Well, maybe he did do that right. I thought he did it wrong, but just got one more thing I gotta do. Yeah, if you're Mason, if you're here in town, that's probably your best bet's probably just to bring it by the Plex, and so we can identify exactly what you need. But we should have whatever connector you would want. Actually, servo wires probably be easier than like an actual battery plug if it's a servo wire. Ooh, T-Max 3.3, huh? I love Nitro questions when I don't have it in front of me. So Preston just asked, need help with my T-Max 3.3 like tuning. What do you think? What are you trying to figure out tuning wise? Good Lord. Oh, that's the wrong. Both of those are the wrong servo. Be right back. Yeah, I know, right? We're almost 2,000 subs. That'd be awesome. Preston. So usually, when you're having the trouble that you're describing, which is when you can't have the brakes on and the truck running, that's usually not a tuning issue. It's actually a clutch issue. So what happens on the Traxxas engines is either the spring that holds the plastic clutch will just weaken and the clutch will engage sooner, or it breaks altogether. And what happens is then your clutch is engaged all the time, and anytime that you have the wheels touching or you hit the brakes, it shuts the engine off. So that's usually what that is. It's usually not a tuning issue. I've found that 75% of Nitro issues that are happening aren't actually the engine's fault. It's usually mechanical. Either the clutch, maybe your clutch bearings are frozen, your clutch shoes are super worn out, or you've got a bearing that's bad in line with the like the drivetrain. So with what you described, I would actually leave your tuning alone, and I would take the engine off, take the clutch bell off, and just inspect that clutch and see if the spring is broke or if it's just really, really worn out. We do. It's part number 4140 something X. Let's go back up here. We have the off-road carpet set up before Friday off-road starts, asking for a friend. No, I work tomorrow. So I'm going to go in at 10. I'm going to get as much as I can done. And then I'm not free again until later that night. So if I'm going to get as much as I can done, but more than likely the track won't be put up until after we close. So if you want to come in at 8 and try to sneak in some laps before the Family Friday off-road is done, you can, but no guarantees. And then Michael Root asks, how hard is it to replace a training diff? I don't think it's that hard at all. If it's just a regular crawler setup, so there's screws holding the transmission in from the bottom. You just take it out, and then there's screws holding the transmission case in, and you just go like that. You should just be able to take it out and put it together. So I don't think it's going to be that difficult. Is Traxxas not the way to go with Nitro? Actually, I think I personally think that Traxxas cars for a beginner, I don't think you can go wrong with Traxxas cars, because the 3.3 has 3.3 and 2.5 have both been kind of proven to be kind of dumb proof. Like, you can be really off on the tune, and as long as you are able to get to like kind of reset it to factory settings, usually they run like a champ again. So I think Traxxas cars are fine. Probably easier because they got the easy start. Pull start's the devil. I hate pull starts. So I think the easy start was a breakthrough for Nitro cars, especially at the beginner level. So yeah, I have no problem with Traxxas Nitro cars at all. Let's see. Yeah, no problem, Preston. Hopefully we can help you figure that out. This is my Super Slash 1000. It's super souped up. That's a word. Yeah, this is the LCG chassis. I've got the big bore shocks on it, RPM arms, and I'm kind of going to redo it to a more like sensorless, brushless setup. In fact, I've actually been thinking about turning this into a drag car, maybe this summer, since I already have almost everything I need to get it there. And J Concepts makes some really cool drag stuff. Mason, which part of Iowa are you from? How's it going? Hey. Independence? Oh, that's there's a hobby town in Cedar Rapids. That might be the closest one to you. I don't think there's one in Waterloo. I think I know where Independence is at, so I think Cedar Rapids might be the closest one. Hang on. What do you want?
Oh, I don't know. I just want you.
Hey, we're up to 14 viewers on the live stream.
13.
Aw, we just lost one. Damn it. Okay, so the Super Slash is basically fixed for the moment. So, just Mason's question. This is really fun. I like this. This is a back and forth with questions and stuff. Every hobby town is different. We actually, the Plex, we're not allowed to solder for people. We all had to sign waivers saying that we wouldn't do it because I think somebody sued somebody somewhere in the hobby town realm, and we just decided to, well, not we decided, but corporate decided that we couldn't solder for people anymore. So it could be it could be like franchise wide, but I can't vouch for what Cedar Rapids says. You might have to just call and ask them because they might do it. So that way.
Yeah.
So you'd have to call and ask or email them or something. Tuesday night crawler night. Actually, a couple weeks ago, it really slowed down. I think the indoor course might be a little too hard for some people, unfortunately. But this last Tuesday, we had Pat and Brent and Cole came out, and then I drove the course with mine. So we had 4 entries, and Brent won. He got the lowest score. So hopefully it picks up a little bit. The course is really nice. I don't make hard courses for Tuesdays. There's usually one gate that's hard for everybody, but I try to make it somewhat accessible. I run dual stage foams in the front. So right now I've got J Concepts landmines in my crawler. The front I'm using Proline dual stages, and in the back I'm just using the stock foam. We've got some really cool foams. I can't remember the name of them now. They were in our What's New a couple weeks ago. I think the next set of tires I'm going to get, which will be a new set of landmines, except in the green compound. Mine are blue, so mine are actually a little harder. I'm going to put those really firm foams in the front, and I'm going to put the mediums in the back and see if I can get a little bit more precision when I'm winding through stuff. Yeah, actually, Shane, Brent, God, I can't remember it. It's late, so my mind's gone. But Brent, who won on Tuesday, he actually won with the TRX4, almost stock too. He did really good. It was amazing. He really used his front and rear lockers wisely, and was able to get through the course better than me and my Enduro. So you can do it. Yeah, from J Concepts, green is the softest compound that they make. Special tires for the off-road track. So it kind of depends on what brand you get. Pre-mount Schumacher tires for buggy are $20.99 rears, and I think they're like 15 or 16 bucks front. J Concepts tires are I think they're $15.99 without rims. So you got to get rims too. So they're in that $20 to $25 range, depending on the brand you want to choose. I run J Concepts twin pins, and you guys can see that. These are kind of worn down, got a couple weeks on them, but these are J Concepts twin pins, and then J Concepts swaggers on the front. But the cool thing about carpet tires is that they're not really that expensive. They're actually a little bit cheaper than dirt tires. Part of that's because we don't use closed cell foam in them, so they're just a little bit cheaper all the way around. So. Yeah, dude. So a good servo for your TRX4. They actually use the same servos that the Latrax cars use, the 2065 from Traxxas. And Traxxas actually came out with a metal geared version of that servo, the 2065X. I think specifically for the guys, first and foremost, who've been breaking theirs on the TRX4. So I would recommend those because they definitely just drop right in. You don't have to worry about any servo arm problems, because sometimes you can get a different brand and the servo horn doesn't fit the stock servo arms. And that's the biggest problem with the Traxxas TRX4 is you have to use those servo horns on there. So you're better off just getting the metal geared Traxxas servo. And what's cool is they're actually not that expensive. I think they're like 30 something bucks, something like that. That's a really good question that Jake just asked. So this is our first year running the treaded pins on our carpet track, and so there has been a little bit of a learning curve on them. And what I've kind of figured out is that right now newer tires are definitely better than really old tires. There's kind of a sweet spot where the carpet off-road tires can work for a while. So, for instance, 2 weeks ago, I had Friday off, so I got the track done super early, and then I practiced for like 5 hours, which normally I don't get a chance to do. So I was super happy, and everything was working right, and I was, all happy and excited about stuff. And I wore out my tires, and we didn't. And then I was dumb, and I didn't glue up a new set for the next day, and so I was significantly slower. When I did get my new tires done, they're really edgy for the first 4 minutes. So it's really good when you do get a brand new set of carpet pins to definitely put a practice run on them and to work off that edginess. And then there's a sweet spot, I'd say, for probably maybe 10 to 12 runs if you're not super hard on them. And then they start to slow down quite a bit. So what my kid and I are doing is we're actually practicing with our older tires so that we don't wear them out. And then our good tires we're using for qualifying and then for the main. So this set of tires that he's running right now, these are his qualifying and main tires. So we're going to try to get a whole nother race day on him Saturday. But he's going to be practicing with our older stuff, and we're just not going to worry about lap times that much. So if that answers your question. Dirt tires, we kind of have a different deal with dirt tires. We tend to heat them up. That's been my thing. Is I take a new set of J Concepts ellipses, and I sauce them up, and then I hit them with a heat gun, and then I go run, and then I come back, and then I sauce them up, and I hit them with the heat gun again, and then I go run again. And usually by that second heat cycle, they're really good. And the heat gun method, I think, makes the tires last longer than by using a rag. A lot of guys will take a rag and a drill, and I think that's harder on them. So, but yeah, hopefully that answers your question. We have a Nitro Rustler, won't start, continue running off the starter, but it will fire up and run on the starter. What should I do? So that sounds like the guy before you. Again, I think what that sounds to me like is either glow plug is going bad, or again, you might have a clutch issue where the clutch is wearing out so much so that when you do let off the starter and you go to drive it, as soon as you set it down or let off that starter, it's basically like putting your finger on it to shut it off. That's what it sounds like. So you might want to, first thing I would do, take the glow plug off and just look at it and see if it's got this like crookedness to it. That would be like a blown up glow plug first. And then, so change your glow plug. And then if that still doesn't work, then it sounds like it could be like a clutch issue, kind of like the guy before you. See if I can, what was his name? Preston, earlier in the chat. Yeah, that's usually what that is. So, any changes planned for the next Techno Series race, Clayton? Yep, big ones. Not looking, well, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not looking forward to the work. But yes, there will be significant changes done to the next track layout.
Yours in fifth right now.
Let's see. Yep, no problem. The blinking red light, is that on the receiver or is that on the speed controller? Because those can be two different things. What am I doing? Oops. So. The blinking LED lights on the receiver, so that usually means that it's lost bind somehow. So that could actually be a number of things. If it's after a while, it just means that your batteries were low. So I plan to go live more often. It's kind of something that I've wanted to do for a while now, and I was kind of embarrassed for my room, so I wanted to get my room remodeled first, so that I at least had something that looked like other YouTubers' places out there, not just some shack. I'm kind of thinking of making it like a Thursday night thing that we do. Maybe I don't know, maybe more often than that, but at least once a week. I wanted to do it the other night, and I wanted to do it with my phone, and then I realized it wouldn't let me do it with my phone. So I just decided to use my computer. So, and it seems to be working out because we got 14 viewers. Yay. So what we're doing on this B61 is we're going to change both front A arms because I'm switching to the Team Associated hard arms for carpet so that it doesn't flex as much, and it should make my kids should make my kid's car handle better. I'm also going to redo the shocks and stuff tonight too. I got some inside info on some setup stuff, so I'm going to try to make it better. And we should be having a coming up soon. I'll be doing a video series on the B6.2. I think they're shipping right now, so I think they're going to show up a little bit earlier than expected, and hopefully I'll have mine soon after that. So hopefully. Yeah, Emerson's actually supposed to be in bed, but the problem is he can hear me talking, so he wants to be part of the action down here. Thanks, Paxton. Yeah, the 22X, you know, they posted that that news release, and you know, that's probably a good thing, because you don't want to release a car that's not ready to be released. I don't know if any of you guys are old enough to remember the original 22.4 that came out in 1996. A whole bunch of us bought them and then immediately broke front bulkheads like the first time we drove it. So that was kind of a bummer. And then they it took Losi, you know, a couple weeks to get that sorted out, and then they came out with basically a nylon front bulkhead, and that nylon bulkhead saved a lot of bulkheads from being broken, but it got really sloppy. So your front arms would do this when you're playing with it, but they didn't break. So I'm not saying that 22.4 wasn't ready to be released when it was released, but I'm sure TLR did not want to see something like that happen, where maybe a part that they hadn't anticipated breaking a lot was breaking, or it had to be something to cause that delay, I'm sure. So the B6.2 should be out. Like I said, I believe they're shipping like now, and so it should be soon. The main difference from the B6.2 to the B6.1 is going to be the rear end of the car. So the rear end's different. They're using like a B74 style arm with this new longer drive shaft for the carpet car. If I remember reading on stuff. Also, the chassis is longer. There's just subtle differences. It's got that new front wing mount, so you don't have to go out and buy one. And the new body is supposed to make it handle somewhat different, although I'm probably going to use the same body I've always ran. Yeah, the carpet version is longer, and the rear end's different from the B to the carpet version. I don't have my cheat sheet in front of me, so on the new car. So I know the differences between the D and the regular car are actually pretty significant too. Ooh. Okay. So let's go through. Okay. So I'm watching am I ever going to put in a quad on the carpet? Probably not. So the carpet track off-road, we really have to watch what we do on it, so that we do as little damage to it as possible. So we don't want to get too crazy because we'll run into we'll run into gouges and stuff in the carpet that we don't want. So we don't want to go too big. We don't want to go too high. I'm actually pretty happy with the jumps we have now. They all work really well, and they kick you just right. And we do have that one really kind of big double. I could actually make it bigger if I had the room to make it longer. I definitely would. So probably not a quad, maybe a triple. There might be a triple in the future. We'll see what the carpet crash in layout has in store. I have it drawn out on paper, and there's enough room to do a pretty substantial jump. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see what comes of that. So, but the main thing is we have to protect the carpet. It's a significant investment on the on-road side. That carpet cost about $9,000 when it was all said and done, and that's the most we've ever spent on carpet. So we really don't want to do anything to hurt it, so that we can have that carpet for as long as possible. Paxton, I don't think there's going to be a conversion. I've been kind of keeping up on some of the forums, and that's actually been a question that seems to be pretty popular. And so far, they've said no. So it might just take buying the parts, the rear arms, the rear hubs. Oh yeah, the hubs are different. Yeah, they got a brand new hub out, which is nice. I forgot about the hub. They got this new really cool hub design that's kind of like the TLR hub, like the Shell hubs when they first came out. Yokomo hubs are the same way. Okay, so that's done. So, any of you guys going to keep up on the Reedy Race starting tomorrow? So we have Aiden Olson, who works for us. He's out there running the open class. Mitchell Pobble, their entire family has raced with us now for 10 years. Yeah. The Fullers from Des Moines, and Tom Ritternecht and James Nelson and the Vanderbeeks. They're also out there. And those are really the core group of faster young people we have that race for us or race with us at the Plex. So I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on them, and I hope to see them do really well. Oh, sure, I can do that. First off, bro moment. Have you ever thought about selling some of your collectors? No way. Every once in a while, I acquire stuff that's not sentimental to me, and I'll flip it on like eBay or something. But the stuff that you see behind me on my shelf, those are my. There's a lot of history to that stuff. This is a Tamiya Falcon, and my mom actually bought this car for me in like 1988, and she passed away in 2009. So this is staying up there all the time. It is annoying. So a lot of that stuff is, most of the stuff is sentimental to me, so no, not really. Could you explain what the Reedy Race is, what the classes are? Sure. So the Reedy Race is divided into two groups. There's an invite and then there's an open class. The invite is usually the top 24 best drivers in the world, or usually sometimes it's 24 or 30. I think sometimes it's 30, but I think this year they're doing 24. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Those guys run 6 rounds, heads up racing, not qualifying, none of that stuff. It's all just racing in 4-wheel drive and then in 2-wheel drive. So there's 6 rounds for 4-wheel drive and 6 rounds for 2-wheel drive. And then they put those scores together, and I believe it's just 1 drop each. And the Reedy Race started as Reedy was this basically a founder of RC, and it was actually held on his birthday every year. Stop. It was held on his birthday every year, and he died of Parkinson's. Gosh, 2008, maybe 2009, something like that. And then there's the open class. So all the pros race in the pros race in the invite, and then in the open class, every year they take entries, and it's like 600 entries, and they only take 100, and so names are drawn from a lottery. If you made the A main at the previous year, you're pretty much guaranteed a spot. And then the way I understand it is there's certain like things they have worked out with some teams and stuff, so a certain amount of their drivers can get in, but other than that, it's just a random lottery drawing. If you win the open in either 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, then you get to race in the invite class the following year. So Mason Fuller came really close. It might have been last year to winning the open. So yeah, I hope to see them. I hope to see him do well this year. So Josh, it'll be on YouTube. It'll be look up Live RC. We'll have it live. And then Red RC usually does a compilation of each round of the invite. So like tomorrow they'll have round 1, round 2, round 3 that you can watch all 3 races. It's going to be awesome. So yeah, I'll try to find a link. Am I going to destroy people with my e-buggy? Probably not. It's so pretty. I don't want to run it. I'm into carpet off-road so much. I don't honestly have any ambition of running my e-buggy right now. Maybe. I don't know. I don't have any tires right now. That's the only thing. I need tires. Otherwise, I totally would. But I don't know about destroy. I might bring it out for a Family Friday off-road. We'll see. I'll surprise everybody. So the only sponsor that I have is J Concepts. I always looked up to Jason Rona when I was growing up, and then we finally met in 2009, and he instantly became a supporter of the HobbyPlex. He wanted to have a Nitro race every Memorial Day weekend, and so that's when we had the J Concept Spring Nats for a while, and then I honestly enjoyed being a privateer for tires because I kind of felt like um, it was better off that I would run whatever I wanted so that I could always run what works. But then a couple years ago, they invited me to race, be on the J Concepts team with my kid too. So my son and I are like sponsored by J Concepts. But other than that, um, in 2017, I dropped all my sponsors. I didn't renew any of my contracts that I had. I was a full ride TLR guy, Spectrum, Horizon Hobby, Orion, Dynamite. That's all those, and I just felt like it was time. I definitely wasn't getting faster with my age. I was kind of getting slower, and there was a lot of really cool. There is a lot of really cool stuff out there, and I feel like in order for me to kind of reignite why I like doing this and why I have all these collectible cars and stuff, that the best move for me was to be a privateer and drive whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. So the only sponsor I have is tires and bodies and accessories. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, Josh, I know you guys. I know you guys will. I might bring it. I don't know. It's ready to go. All I got to do is slap tires on it. Oh, and I got to put a receiver in it. What do I recommend to get for a beginner to 8? Well, Paxton, I think your best bet is to get a used one, and I would get a brand that you know you're going to get parts for locally. So I would definitely do something from Techno, TLR, Team Associated, Mugen. I loved my Eco. Uh, so I raced a Mugen Eco the last couple years, and I love that car. So if I got the only reason why I got my Associated e-buggy is because I got a hell of a deal on it. Otherwise, I probably would have a Mugen again. Emerson's running a Mugen Truggy because they work so good. So yeah, we really like the Mugen stuff. Just coming from a privateer standpoint. Yeah, I think if you can find a used Mugen, even an MBX7 electric, I think you'd be pretty happy with that. Um, if you can find a TLR, dude, I would get a 4.0. They're probably really cheap out there, and um, right now, and they're a really good car. So, what are your thoughts on Red Cat? Okay, here's the deal. Here's my take with Red Cat. If you had asked me 10 years ago, I'd be like, stay away, awful. Okay. Um, but they really are trying, and you can see that they're trying. Um, I would still say, if you, for reliability's sake, I still think that Traxxas stuff for Nitro is going to be more reliable. I haven't seen Red Cat Nitro stuff yet that lasts very long, you know. But they are inexpensive, so it's kind of a trade-off, I think, still. But the HobbyPlex has been carrying Red Cat crawlers now for a while, and the Gen 8 and Gen 7s and the Everest 10, they're great. We haven't really had any electronic issues or anything like that. And we've been thinking about bringing in some more of their electric line, but Nitro just doesn't sell well right now, period. So we haven't really given any thought to that. to Nitro side of that brand. But if I personally had to choose, my honest take is that I would still kind of stay away and stick with the Traxxas or something. The Traxxas Nitro engines are so robust, and you can be a big dummy with them, and they'd still run. You know. Oh, sweet. Yeah, dude. Chad does a great job of doing consignment. In fact, I mean, I've been thinking about trying to bring that maybe to our owner and say we might be able to do consignment for people to kind of emulate what Chad Brockman's doing up at Moore. But he's doing such a good job with that, and he gets quality stuff too, which is nice, and he prices it really well. So that's awesome. That's good. Okay, so the arms are fixed, and you can see they're just a little bit of a different color. So they're the hard arms, so they shouldn't allow the car to flex as much. So Emerson's car should be driving really good on Saturday. And if he breaks it again, I'm done. He can do it himself. So for electronics for an 8 scale, I would highly recommend just getting the HobbyWing stuff. It's inexpensive and it's good. So I think you can get the 8 scale brushless speed controller from HobbyWing for $150, and you can get a motor. Like a 1900 kV would be what I would recommend. That should get you to where you want to be. And then a servo, you know, with 8 scale, if you chintz out on a servo, you're just going to break them. So you're just going to have to get a good servo. I'd recommend something like a oh man, what's the number? 22 Savix 2210. Is that right? Something like that. It's like a 400 ounce metal geared servo, and you're gonna have to get something like that. Otherwise, you're just gonna break it all the time. So, hey, you need to go to bed. It's way past your bedtime. Do you think you can modify a Walmart car? Anything's possible, man. We get people that bring that stuff in all the time, and good night. A lot of times, we have to tell them the truth that it's really hard to do that, and it doesn't really work with the stuff that we sell. But I would say anything's possible. Yeah, that's a tough one. So the Capra is a really cool truck. I want to get one so bad. So I have a second class to run, but I don't know. The brushed systems are they're just really smooth. That's one thing you're going to have with the brush stuff is it's if you get something like a HobbyWing 1080 speed controller that they sell really cheap, I think they're $41 at the Plex. And then get like a 13 turn brushed motor. You're gonna have a really good power delivery, really smooth. You'll be able to punch it when you want, but be finesse when you want. But then again, something like the Castle Slate or the HobbyWing Axe, I've seen those more often now, and just seeing them in action, it's kind of piqued my interest and made me think that maybe that's something that I'd like to give a try. So I personally have a feel for it. But if it were me right now, if I got my Capra tomorrow, I think I would just buy a Hobby Wing 1080 ESC and a like a 13 turn motor and get a 3-cell, and I'd probably have all the power I want and have it be as smooth when I need it to be. So it's just my thought, my opinion. Do I have any snowplow attachments for Traxxas cars with the snow and all? Not for Traxxas. We've got snowplows for crawlers. RC 4-wheel drive makes a plow and attachments to a Vitera and an Axial SCX10. But nothing to Traxxas. You'd have to make up your own, probably mount and everything. Anything's possible if you know how to weld and stuff, which not me. Paxton 17.5 is expert 17.5 buggy. So yeah, there will be. So should be good. Sorry. So the carpet jumps, they will be up at some point. I'm going in tomorrow at 10 to get as much done as I can, and then I'll try to finish up if we're not busy Friday night, because I work noon to 8 p.m. So I usually have to set up, if we're busy, I have to set up the carpet track after I get off of work officially at 8 o'clock. But if we're not busy, I can usually sneak down there and I can get the track set up earlier. So they will be before I leave tomorrow night. But whether or not that's before 8 p.m. or after 8 p.m. is up to how busy we are, and sometimes Fridays can be kind of crazy. So yeah, there was we just sold another Capra in today, and digs work really good. I used to have one on my AX10 a long time ago, 2008 and 9. I had a DNA dig on my AX10. Man, they work good. That was cool to have too. Yeah, Paxton, I'll need the help because I can do almost the entire track by myself. There's 3 jumps that I need 2 people on. So if I have somebody there to help me, we can definitely get the track done a little bit earlier. So for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and redo the shocks on this car now, and we're going to go heavier than what I've been running. No, the Capra's got it ready to run. The ready to runs are $449, and they come in this really cool kind of dark red color and then like a green and blue color. Yeah, Paxton, it's way past your bedtime. Matt, pretty much any time. The first thing I got to do in the morning is put all the carpet pieces down, and then I'll try to move all the smaller jumps myself. But if I've got somebody there that'll help me, anytime there during the day, I can get the jumps out whenever. So yeah, probably anytime around noon after is if anybody wants to come help me move that stuff, that'd be great. And then after that, all I'd have to do is put the carpet over the top and then tape it down. All in all, I think I did it by myself last week, and it took me like 3 hours to get everything set up. I think I'm going to replace this wing too, because I don't know if you guys can see that. My kid's hard on stuff, man. He breaks stuff a lot. What time is it? So, so we were running 35, 32, but I think we're going to go all the way up to like 42 and 35. I think we're going to go way thicker. Emerson's car just it doesn't stay flat enough yet. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Yeah, Matt, thanks. I redid my hobby room basically so I could do this. This is something I've been thinking about doing for a while. So, but I wanted to have a cool hobby room, not some lame, just like, shack. I'll be right back. So I was going to do a ProTech product spotlight today, and I kind of forgot. But this is one of the cool ProTech things, a shock stand. Everybody has a shock stand. I just happen to like that one. And what else do I need? All right. Matt, I still haven't found those lights yet. So I just reordered them. I don't know if that helps you out now, but I don't know where they went. I've been looking all over the place, and they're still in our system in inventory, so I don't know. I wish I did know. It's starting to tick me off. I know. It's just weird how stuff can get lost so easily. So the one thing about the carpet off-road is, if you guys can see that little carpet fuzz that builds up. It's probably time to redo these shocks anyways. Just to keep everything clean. Most of that fuzz is from the gray carpet. So the gray carpet that we put out helps protect the black carpet from getting messed up, and it's one of the reasons why we didn't run pins when we had gray carpet, because the gray carpet can't really handle the pins very well if that was the actual carpet we're using. So the pin tires kind of unwind that gray carpet a little bit, and that's where you get most of that fuzz from. I'm surprised Bill's not on. So I'll probably leave the stream up for another, we'll say 23 minutes. That'll be a good hour and a half. I know some of you guys that have stuck on the whole time. Dude, thanks. This is cool. See, there's only 7 people now. It's getting boring, so it's getting too long. But building shocks. I need a cup of some sort. So I'm supposed to be trying thin pistons, and I'm pretty sure that I have some. So these are, I don't know if I can get that. You can see that little indention. So they're 1/6 hole, but they're thinner than a standard size piston. Let's see that. So I'm hoping that using thinner pistons and heavier weight oil make my car look like Will Brinton's car. Will's car stays really flat, and you can just see that it's real snappy and real responsive. And my son's car, unfortunately, does not look like that. So we're gonna try to make it look like that. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna put them on the front. So one thing when you're doing shocks is when you're trying to get the air out is you twist it on the way down. That helps clear out any bubbles. Hopefully. Yeah, so I think like what Will told me was that because they're thinner, it allows oil to pass quicker between them, and so that's why you use thicker oil to go with them. So I'm just gonna try it out, and Emerson will tell me if it doesn't work or not. Sometimes I think he's a little shy to tell me when stuff doesn't work, but I can watch his car and be like, well, that change sucks. I don't want to do that. But so far, like with our Mugen truck that we've been running, the changes we made for the last round really seem to work well. And he told me so. So that's a weird one. So I'm watching on my TV the 510 Productions Psycho Nitro Blast show. It's kind of cool. I think it's really neat how we can we just get access to so much stuff now. Instead of waiting around for magazines and stuff. It's a wireless. It's just a wireless cable. So, and then I just have it on YouTube. Normally, I just watch YouTube down here. I don't really. I got cable, but I was thinking if I was going to do this, I didn't want any, whatever. I've tried Jaycon Silvers and the off-road. Thoughts on it? So yeah. Last year, right in the middle of the summer series, a couple of us got some. Shock shaft pliers. A couple of us got some before they were released and tried them, and I think on our dirt, I think clay is the gold compound is still faster, especially when the track has a lot of laps on it and it gets that really dark groove in it. But when the track is newer and doesn't have that groove yet, then the silvers are faster. So I liked them at first, and then they got really hard to drive once our track got grooved up, which made me think that maybe buzzing them down a little bit more, they might have worked better, and it's something I've been thinking about. So maybe next year, this upcoming season, I might try them again. And I don't want our track to turn into a slick track, but I think that if there was a compound that we would use to do that, I think silvers would be it. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully golds just end up being better, period, because I know how to break those in really well and make them last. So Mason, they'll probably come they'll probably come unconnected, so you'd have to solder them. But you can also get like pigtails. It kind of depends on what that Hobbytown carries, and every Hobbytown's different, so I can't really speak for the Cedar Rapids Hobbytown, but more than likely you have to solder them on yourself. Yeah, the silvers, they definitely came in faster, but I just felt like golds were overall faster. As soon as the track really picked up a lot of grip, like I could drive harder with golds. Okay. I bet your Valenian Bandit probably is faster. I'm given serious consideration to building a drag car this spring out of my Super Slash. Then we'll see. Then we'll see how fast I can go. So I'm going to stay live for about another 12 minutes. I think 11 o'clock is a good cutoff time. I'm actually surprised my wife hasn't come down and yelled at me for talking to myself. You guys could do a video on how to connect. Yeah, actually, I've been thinking about doing a how to solder. How to solder video, and I think that's going to be one of our next how-tos. I'll probably do it from down here too, just because I have a nice soldering iron and I got a couple things I can use. So yeah, look for that soon for sure. Are my reflexes fast enough for a drag car? Probably not, but that's what makes it fun, is crashing and breaking and rebuilding. Dude, I remember the first time that I ever drove an e-buggy with a 4-cell battery in it. I sprung one of the biggest RC Woodies I think I've sprung ever, just by how fast it was. Like I was laughing, like literally laughing out loud. My wife's like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, this is so fast. Actually, it was kind of fun because I'm always like, I used to be like, how can people break their stuff? How can you run into a pole and like break your car? And then I almost did it with my 8 scale. And I was like, oh, that's how it happens.
I just have to grab a pop so I don't have to get anyone.
What? Hey, Paxton, I thought you were supposed to be in bed. That's fine. You don't have to come help. I've learned a long time ago that if I get help without asking for it, I'm super happy. And if I ask for help and I don't get any, then I'm super bummed out. So it doesn't bother me at all. But I appreciate the thought. All right, Mason. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. See you Saturday. So I'm just I'm letting this oil just kind of sit in the shock stand here, so that the all the bubbles can get out of there. And yeah, definitely emulsion and no rebound, none at all. In 8 scale, I used to like rebound on my own cars when I was running the TLR car, but with 10 scale, no real rebound. So, and it's good to every once in a while. If you do a full rebuild, it's not going to matter. But if you don't feel like doing a full rebound, you can take your shocks off and squeeze them. And if they come out a little bit, you can actually kind of re-bleed them a little bit. And that's after running for a while because they build up pressures and it can get inconsistent if you got one shock with more rebound than the other one. But generally, yeah, we're not running a whole lot of rebound on our 10 scale stuff at all. So they just want to feel really good. So actually, we're going to go ahead and do this one. So associated shock. And I turn it down. And let the oil, let me tighten it down, and then I take and again with the hole pointed downward, squeeze it slowly, and the oil will drip out. And then just kind of rub it. And now you can put the screw in. And it should, yeah, see, nothing. So that's what I want. You want to make sure that it doesn't, that it feels, that it feels nice. There's no gap or anything like that. And it feels really good. So I'll just wipe off the rest and put her together. And then on carpet, you know, so that's a good question. The difference between CST oil and AEU and or low-C weighted oil is just how they're measured. So the oil is actually the same. It's just that basically CST is like metric, and the shock oil weights here are like standard. So I think where do I go for that? There's a chart that you can find on, if you Google it. Oh my God, what's the name of that site? It's not Oopal. It's another one. Anyways, if you Google it, it'll take you to this site, and they've got a chart that shows where all the CST oils fit with all the low-C and associated oils. And they're all kind of like in between. They're kind of staggered. So, 40 weight is close to like 425 CST or something like that. But this is dude, I'm gonna go to bed and I'll remember it tomorrow morning and go, oh damn it, I should have said that. But it's just a Google thing too. You can just look it up. That's generally what it is. Hobbytown does not have a catalog. Hobbytown.com is the catalog, so you can go check it out. Just hobbytown.com. Do you do the old wheel weight trick in all four corners? Love them. Plant the car, track it all. No, not really. Um, uh, Pettit. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, it's Pettit RC. Exactly. That's where they got it at. Yeah, I've used scales before, and to like to get the cars somewhat equal in all four corners. That does actually work really well. It's a good thing to do. Even in off-road, it's kind of an on-road thing, but definitely even in off-road, scales work really good. But as far as like weights, no, we want the car at those points to be as light as you can. So, yeah. How many vintage Traxxas cars do I have? I have one. This is a Traxxas TRX1, and or maybe it's a TRX3. Either way, this predates your Bandit. This is, but you'd be surprised how many parts are very similar to what they sell out there right now. But this is a Traxxas race car, back when they give a crap about racing. So I have one vintage Traxxas car. And props to my friend Chris Catlett for hooking me up with that vintage Traxxas car. He's had it running recently. So so the connector to the servo wires, buy a whole new servo to go along with the connector. No, you shouldn't. You should just be able to get a lead and then solder it together. So okay, it's 11 o'clock. I've been on for an hour and 32 minutes. I think that's a pretty successful first live HobbyPlex After Hours. That's what we're going to call this segment. So you guys are awesome. We fluctuated between 12 and 20 viewers, and yeah, it's my RC10 too. It's good stuff. Anyways, so I'm going to sign off and start getting to bed. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll probably do a video about For the Carpet off-road tomorrow night at some point. So keep your eyes on that. All right. So good night. Thanks for tuning in.